Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I'm the Crypto Crow. Today is Friday, and we're going to jump right into what's going on. First thing that I want to address is the World Economic Forum. I think they might be saying hi to me, but no, I mean, kidding aside, they do credit me with this image. They used a stock photo of me for one of their articles. This is... I had people sending me this article now so that everybody knows, so that this is clear. This isn't them like telling me like, we know who you are, shut your mouth. This is nothing like that. I basically did a photo shoot for PR Photos a couple years back, and this is one of the photos that we basically released on Pexel, which is for free, royalty-free use. And this picture gets used all the time, and I'm blurred out enough that you don't really know it's me unless you know it's me, and then you're like, oh, that is him, look at that. Okay, so they don't know, they have no idea that they use this, but the article is actually pretty interesting. And I guess I could say you can now find me on the World Economic Forum website. And I posted a thing on Twitter about this, and I basically said, you know, hey, are they trying to, am I one of them, or did they just use a stock photo? And so, yeah, I just let the conspiracies go, and it's just that easy, folks. It's just kind of fun. But anyway, 2022 was a terrible year for cryptocurrencies with a loss of $2 trillion in market value. That's no big deal. We've seen this time and time again every market cycle. We could now see the handover of crypto technology and blockchain infrastructure to more regulated and established institutions. Could we see that? Yes, I think we're going to see that. I think that's kind of the point of some of the things that have been going on lately. Cryptography and blockchains will continue to be integral parts of the modern economic toolkit. Now, the reason I'm going over this is because I want to establish kind of a thought process for you. And this is where I think things are going. Now, we had Bitcoin come out in 2009, and that created its own market, significant ups and downs, extreme volatility, so forth and so on, right? That's all fine and dandy. Then we get into the later markets, and we start hitting 2017. And we saw the launch of smart contracts and what that meant to crypto and blockchain, all of the different, potential use cases, the speculative gold rush. Here's this new technology that's going to take over the world. This is the ground floor. You could buy in for pennies and make millions, and some did. And it was fantastic, but it was also the Wild West where anything and everything could happen and did happen. So we established the fact that this is a sought-after technology for both speculative means as well as technological advancement, but it's also a very Wild West environment where you can get, hacked, robbed, stolen from, rug pulled. We saw JPEG images go for millions of dollars. We saw every kind of crazy thing you can think of. And so much of the space was, from everything I've gathered, has definitely been used for illicit means as well, from money laundering to you name it. We've seen it all, right? And a lot of the speculation has stemmed from ideas. Here's an idea. Could this do really well in the new world? And if everybody thought so, they put their money into it. That speculation then continued to pump up the value of these tokens, that most of which have ultimately ended up becoming fairly useless. Then we see the next market cycle, and then we get an idea as to, okay, Bitcoin's of course going up because it's always going to go up in every market cycle, a bull run, just because it's basically like digital gold, and that's how people are buying it and using it. And then you have all of these other speculative assets. And it doesn't matter if it's a utility token or a security. It really doesn't matter, because the vast majority of these tokens are being bought up as speculative tools. People are buying in, hopefully at a low, expecting the prices to go up. That's speculation. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it has a direct use case or it's an actual utility token or it's used to get coupons at a restaurant. I mean, it doesn't really matter. In crypto as a whole, we've adopted the idea that investing in anything is speculative. We are speculating on its potential future value. And given that, we're seeing the paradigm change. We're seeing the way the economy in the crypto space is changing. The FUD, the downfalls, the liquidations, the insolvencies, all of the issues that have basically come from these major corporations, these trading platforms, these major whales. The way they can manipulate markets, the way they can manipulate each other, manipulate the press, manipulate the narrative, and ultimately manipulate us, the retail investors that are basically making significant, bold, and extremely ever risky moves to try and capitalize on the speculative nature of these assets. And then we sit and we say, well, we don't want regulation. We don't want regulation. We don't need anybody messing up the space, keeping a good man down, basically making it impossible for us to put our money where we want. We want the freedom to do what we want. We want sovereignty. We want all of these things. But then when we lose it or we get hacked or something happens, the first people we run to are those that we expect to fix it, which are the regulators, the police, the three-letter agencies that can get involved and try and make a bad thing right? So while we say we don't want regulation, to me, it's the same as the people that are running around saying defund the police. But then if they get robbed or their house gets broken into, the police are the first people they call. They don't call their neighbor and say, hey, can you help me figure out who did this and get them? They call the police. So it's a situation now as we are absolutely going to see significant regulation in the space. It's being written, it's coming, it's happening. Whether we like it or not, it's happening. And I think that the nature of this regulation is going to really significantly change things. And I've said multiple times that we are not going to see we're not going to see the markets play out the way they normally do. We're not going to see this isn't going to be a free-for-all anymore. I really don't believe that. And ultimately, I think that we're going to see a lot of these stable tokens regulated out. I've said that many times over the years. All of these different stable tokens are not going to last. They're going to get regulated out. We're going to be utilizing CBDCs. We're going to be utilizing centralized digital tokens for whoever, from wherever, whether it's the Fed now or they come up with a different catchy name. That's coming. And a lot of what we enter into in the space to that extent is going to be controlled in some way. Regulations are going to make sure of it. Some of the regulation is going to be about, honestly, protecting you from doing dumb shit in the crypto space. And because we've seen it time and time again, I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it. And so, how many different projects have we invested in thinking it was going to take us to the moon, only to find out that there's some corrupt bad actor who is just scheming and then using our money for all sorts of nefarious activity or greed-induced activity off of our backs, only to cause us to lose it all, okay? Whether it's Alex Mashinsky or Sam Bankman-Fried or somebody else. A lot of the major players in the space have gotten really, really big because they let's just say they have issues, okay? I understand a lot of this because I've seen it. I've had a lot of opportunities to cash in and quote unquote sell my soul, so to speak. For those of you that remember that $1 million offer I got a long time ago, it was $1 million worth of tokens. They wanted me to be an ambassador, and I hired a lawyer, and I'm like, tell me about these guys. And he had a former FBI agent who basically worked for him to do background checks on people and like dig deep. And, they dug deep and they gave me a full report on everybody involved with the team. And I was like, no, you're not buying me. And I don't care how much money you're going to give me. I'm not going to promote this drivel, and I'm not going to, I don't want to be a part of it. And there's so many opportunities like that for those willing to sell their souls and sell out their audiences, to sell out their constituents, like whatever. And it's all over the place. People constantly looking to serve themselves. And I could have taken that money. I could have dumped the token. I could have bought a team. I could have made myself really huge. I could have done a lot of things to raise myself up, but it wasn't worth my soul. And there are a lot of people out there that have no problem sending you upriver, bankrupt and broke, as long as that benefits them. And we see that, and I feel like the bigger these people are, the more capable they are. And it's like a stepping stone before you're just a hollow shell of a human being with plenty of money and nothing but regret, if you have a conscience at all by the time all is said and done. And regulation, in a lot of ways, is a way to keep people honest. I mean, let's just be real about it. People fear regulation. Crypto projects fear regulation. Everybody does. I do. You know, it would make my life so much easier if I could launch a token for my game, for my social media platform, generate capital through the use of these tokens that I know are going to have uses someday, but I can't, but you never know what's going to happen. And then what happens if something falls through or doesn't work out, and then the world hates me, everybody hates me, it was a scam, this from the beginning, you got all the conspiracies going. So there is honest mistakes in the space. It is easier to be able to generate capital from a public that believes in your project, but there are never any guarantees. And that is why some of the regulation is based around, listen, if you have a direct use case at the time you release a token, and it is in fact a utility token, maybe we'll leave you alone. If you don't, and it's 100% decentralized, and you're putting out a cryptocurrency or blockchain project that is not bent on speculative value from jump, then maybe we'll leave you alone. And I don't have any problem with that. I understand it. It sucks for me because I can't do everything I'd like to do to make my life easier in building what I'm building, but I get it. And so that leads me to this, and that is ultimately the idea that you have to start learning how to quantify use case, because I think we are going to end up in a place where investing on speculative value alone is no longer going to be as big of a thing. And I think it really is going to be about use case. And the way you think about use case is through tokenomics and use. And if you have a crypto project that says, well, we've got 25 billion tokens, but our use case is to help people with lost pets track their pets. And that use case maybe is a niche market that's made up of, 100,000 people in a country. Well, that billions and billions of tokens is probably not going to do very well in a speculative value, because even if everybody has to buy a token, use these tokens, and then cash those tokens in to a utility system that helps them track their pets, there's not enough demand to make all 25 billion of those tokens valuable, because the demand is low and the supply is very high. That's one of the reasons why I look primarily to layer one blockchains that are ultimately building a framework for a lot of layer twos and dApps and other applications to work from that layer one, all interchanging tokens and token value, transaction fees, and so forth, because it's the layer one technology, ultimately, in my opinion, where the cream will continue to rise to the top, and we'll have settled down on, a number of maybe 5 to 10 primary blockchains, both decentralized and centralized, that are going to carry the space forward. And then from there, it's going to be about side chains based off of, a direct use case related to that side chain and its purpose. So there will be some value there. But in the grand scheme of things, I definitely see this market changing dramatically in 2023, and I highly encourage you to be prepared. I think, if anything, you want to make sure that you understand market capitalization. If you don't, if you're new to crypto and you're seeing this video and you're like, I'm not even sure what market capitalization is or how to calculate it. I've done videos on it in the past. I have a playlist, getting started in crypto or learning crypto. I've done videos on calculating a lot of different things. You should probably watch those videos. And I also want to let everybody know, this is Metaverse Express, Meta Mona. I met her in Decentraland. I did a recent interview with her. It's an hour long, and it's a really good interview. And I'm going to tell you, Meta Mona's legit. And we joke about what my first impressions were of her when I first saw her at Decentraland. And it's funny now, but I was very straight up. I'm like, I thought you were like a dirt journalist, because she was gorgeous and she was dressed in a suit and gym shoes, like she was ready to go running for a story. And it's funny now because we've been talking ever since, and she's sharp. She loves the space. She's very much excited about metaverses and cornucopias, and we have a lot in common in the space. And she's fantastic, and I think you'll really enjoy this interview. And then also, Miss Teen Crypto reached out to me on Twitter. And come to find out, her father's a fan of mine and said, you should get Crypto Crow on your channel. And so she reached out. I'm like, you know what? Sure, let's do it. I opened up and talked to her about my life, my child, all kinds of stuff. If you're at all interested, and I mean, I got a little emotional at one point, and this girl's energy was so good and so comforting, and I felt she could hate my guts, and I'd have never known it, because she seemed so excited to talk to me and hear my story that it made me just more than happy to share it with her. And this is a really good interview. This was also like an hour, so if you're bored and you just want to listen to me talk for a couple hours, you've got Miss Teen Crypto, a recent interview, and you got Metaverse Express. I'd highly encourage you to subscribe to both of those channels, because neither of them have a significant number of subscribers. Miss Teen Crypto's a sharp one. I'm telling you right now, the girl's 20 years old and she's a sharp cookie. You can just tell by talking to her that you could probably ask her about damn near anything in the crypto space, and she's probably going to have an answer. I think she's definitely going to be a rising star. And Metamona, you know, she's got a lot of ideas and things of what she wants to do in the crypto space from a news perspective. And I honestly, I want to work with her. I want to try and work some things out and maybe create some sort of, you know, some sort of like legit news network. And you know, we have some ideas, and some of it might involve cornucopias and, you know, basically broadcasting throughout the metaverse. I don't know. We're working, we're talking, you know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, listen, folks, it's Friday. I hope this video finds you well. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. I really need to get my numbers up. They're growing a little bit, and I really, really appreciate it. And, you know, as always, I just want to educate you guys as best I can. I'm not all about the headline chasing, so I don't get 50 billion views a day. I'm not really generally about clickbait or anything like that, but it does work. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. But until next time, guys, grow your coins, enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.